What's up, everybody? Welcome to All Things Metal, Episode 3. We are actually starting on time. Holy shit. We've got a really cool show today. Aaron and I are going to be getting into some of the politics of copywriting in music and in heavy metal. And we definitely want to field some calls on that. I think that'll be a pretty interesting subject to cover, as well as Tim, the former lead vocalist of Within the Ruins. So stick around. He'll be on here in about 30 minutes. This is All Things Metal.
When the dust settles, the only thing living in this world will be metal.
What's up, everybody? This is Noah Robinson, and you are?
I'm Aaron Goergen. How's it going, everybody?
Hell yes. Welcome to All Things Metal, Episode 3. We've been really excited. Aaron and I have been doing a lot of work getting ready for this week's episode. I'm not going to lie. It's still going to be shitty, just like the other two were, but we're going to have fun doing it, I think.
Hey, I want to interject real quick. We want to give best possible vibes and everything to everybody involved at Lake Hefner tonight in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
I hope everything turns out well. We'll leave it at that so it doesn't get political one way or another. Just hope everyone's loved ones watching this show are safe and sound. Let's leave it at that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Noah.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, we had a pretty devastating thing happen about an hour ago, and Aaron and I were getting ready to go online, and that we just quit paying attention to the show and watching that. So it appears that things are being resolved and all that. So hopefully we can focus on the show. We've still got our little tickers here in the background giving us information as it updates. So if you guys see us kind of dozing off a little bit, it's not that we're unfocused on the show, but yeah, we have some other stuff going on. So we're going to try to work through it. But Aaron, do you like metal?
I
mean,
you know, it's okay.
Second to country?
Man, you know what? I absolutely hate country music.
Dude,
I hate it.
I
like bubblegum pop music better than country music.
I do too. I don't think we created the show to talk shit on other types of music, and it's my fault for bringing up.
Wait. You said other types of music. Operative word there being music. So
that's very true. That's pretty accurate.
But yeah, just bleh. I can't stand it.
No, I can't either, man. God, what were we talking about earlier today? Oh, let me touch on something real quick. I'm kind of bouncing around here. We had a couple, more than one person comment last week on our draft picks. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a positive or negative about the bands as much as, hey, why did the audio cut out during that one part? Aaron, do you care to comment on that?
Well, it's because apparently Widowmaker's copyright algorithm is pretty strong. So YouTube shut it down, or Facebook shut it down on the transfer from YouTube to Facebook. I don't blame the band. I don't even blame the label. I blame the fact that these kind of things aren't on a more of a case-by-case basis. And I understand why it's not able to be done, because there's literally billions of bands, literally billions of Facebook users. But you look at the context of what we did, all we're trying to do is help these bands. We weren't trying to sell their records. We weren't trying to sell their shirts. We were just thinking, hey, here's this really, really good, super underground band. Hope you dig them. Here's 41 seconds of their music that got muted.
Yeah, it wasn't even a major, it was just like the opening intro of the song and then like part of the verse. Of course, then we turned it. But basically what we're getting at is we got pinged for, I don't know the official term, Aaron, what was it? Copyright something?
Yeah, it's not copyright violation, copyright infringement.
Yep, that's what it was. So anyway, basically going forward, when we do our ATM draft picks, they will be slightly shorter, I think.
Well, at least the music you'll get to hear is slightly shorter. Hope that encourages everybody to go check some of these bands out.
Yeah, you're gonna really
hard. I mean, look, go get on there, whatever. Again, I'm not really sure how we're violating any copyright. I don't know the law inside and out, but we're simply sharing something and streaming something that's already there, and this show's not making any money.
No.
So I'm not really sure, but whatever.
Aaron, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that that's a fight we will win either.
No, you're not going to win copyright fights.
No.
I did a lot of reading about copyrights not too long ago.
Yeah.
You're not going to win.
No, we are absolutely not going to win. I mean, we're still going to do the draft picks, but I don't know that we're going to have more than just a few seconds. I think there's what our producer knows what it's called. It's called like the Fair Play Act or the Free Play Act or something like that, where we can play up to X amount of seconds and I guess get away with it. I don't know how that's any different. This is frustrating.
Yeah. Again, I don't blame the bands and I don't even blame the label. I think they just put a blanket thing out there with YouTube, and then that algorithm, because YouTube and Facebook are partners, I think that algorithm crossed over and Facebook said, no. Yeah, it is what it is, but it's just sucks.
It's still, you'd think it'd be a case-by-case basis. I would like to see that be the case, man. Just
get an interview. We could have easily gotten an email from Facebook. Could have even been a forum email. Hey, our algorithm popped that you were streaming possibly copywritten material. Please tell us what you're doing, what you're using it for. Well, we have a podcast where we talk about the genre of metal, and we were trying to expose this band and get them some hits. And so we played X number of seconds of their video that we streamed from YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. They forward that to the band label, whoever gets back and says, hell yeah, tell them to double how long they play it next time.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them to keep playing more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, my wife, I told her about that, and I was like, "That's not bullshit," and this and that. And she goes, "Yeah, that happened to me one time." I was like, "The fuck do you mean? How did that happen to you?" She said literally that she walked into the room one day, into the living room, and my girls were listening to a Beyonce song on one of their tablets, and my wife just got her phone out and like filmed my two daughters dancing to a Beyonce song. And when she tried to post it live, she got the same ping that you and I did for last week.
Yeah.
Fucking filming my daughters dancing to a fucking Beyonce song. My wife wasn't able to publish that, at least not with audio. It would have been muted like that one part of our podcast was last week. So, but here's the thing too. If you want to actually hear all that shit and we do get muted on that, it will still come through on the audio. So if you our podcast on iTunes or Spreaker or any of those formats, if you go to the audio file of it of that podcast, then you should be able to hear everything. Cool. Aaron, you want to go into draft picks?
Yeah, why don't you go first?
Okay. I've got a little band hailing from Australia known as 12-Foot Ninja. Let's hear the shit.
Yeah.
You have the method, but will you move mountains? This has become quite a vehicle with a roof or a grandizing ghost. You have adapted to the role. Your portrayal portrays your soul.
And that's all you get.
You want to know when you turned me on to these guys? You know what my impression is? This is how I describe when I try to tell people about 12-Foot Ninja. You know what I say? Modern Faith No More.
Yes, absolutely.
They very much have a Faith No More kind of thing where this song's heavy, but they'll have stuff that is just left field too.
Well, and super, super mellow shit too. Like this song is like super genty, like just real choppy, quick, tough guitars. But then imagine Mike Patton singing over that. Unbelievably, dude. These guys, and if you're watching this video, holy shit. Like these guys literally have like one of the best sense of humor you could ask for. They just seem like absolute comics, like great guys to hang out with, but they are masters of their trade. That is undeniable.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Do you
This album, real quick. This song that the video's playing is called "One Hand Killing." It's on their new album. Well, I say newest album from 2016. I think it came out August 2016. The album's called Outlier, and dude, it has some other cuts on there that are just some of the most unbelievable shit. There's a song called Collateral, another one called Sick, and they're unbelievable. It will break down into ska. It will, like, church organs will come in and shit, and it'll have these big operatic vocals, and then it'll just bust into a super, like, sludgy riff out of nowhere. It's so cool. Like, I don't know another metal band that taps into so many different types of music successfully like these guys do.
Yeah, not since Faith No More, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I even think at times he's obviously heavily influenced by Mike Patton, and at times he really, really channels that, and I think he does it well. I think the tone and pitch of his voice is outstanding.
Oh,
outstanding. Great band.
Yes, I agree. So that's my pick for the week. 12 Foot Ninja, get their newest album. They have a couple more before that are amazing as well, but their newest album is called Outlier. You need to get it. It's awesome.
Okay, so my ATM draft pick this week is a band that actually is almost 30 years in. They are from Brooklyn, New York. They're just super, I feel like, underappreciated. I talk about this band, and I was listening to this band, for 15 years ago, and didn't even realize they were on their way back. This is band Candiria from Brooklyn, New York. They're kind of a metal, hardcore, rap, jazz, fusion-y thing. Got, to where they were really getting some success in the early 2000s. And in September of 2002, their trailer was rear-ended by a semi-truck. And their van flipped several times, finally resting upside down on the roof. 4 of them were ejected. Everybody in the band, all 5 members of the band and the driver, had to be put in the hospital. It's 2 more years before they, start to tour again and all that. One of their guitar players is dead now. I mean, this band has been through the ringer. But
can we hear him?
Yeah. And wait, I'm still talking about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because there's kind of a lot to talk about these guys. About 2014, they put out a 7-inch and kind of got back together and see how the buzz was. Do we still have something here? And they did. And then they released their newest record in 2016, and that's what this is from. This is, brain fart. Just listen.
The Whole World Will Burn.
The Whole World Will Burn, that's right. My band, I can't remember.
Yes. Get them
yeah,
started.
I wish we could play it because the bass player throws down into a funk thing right there. But
hey,
these guys, I mean,
they've got 7 seconds, Aaron.
They've got several records. If you like, I guess, without even talking about it beforehand, we both kind of did bands that kind of blend genres in what they do here tonight. And these are 2 bands. I would say they're both very good at what they do. They both have very distinct but diverse sounds. Candiria, man, been doing it for many, many years, you guys. The old hardcore stuff. I mean, go check them out. These guys know what the hell they're doing.
Yes, they
go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you 100% that these guys do.
And unique, heavy, badass. I hope. I don't know if they've ever been here, but I sure hope with one of these new tours they come through, because it sure would be cool to see them.
Yes.
They're a bucket list band for sure.
Yes.
Hey, before we move on to do other things, you gave me an idea for something while we're doing draft picks.
Oh, really?
Remember we were talking? I remember we were talking about
that
draft
I have
picks
right here.
Yeah, I do. So we came up with, or somebody mentioned to Noah that when we talked about this section, do you want to sell this section or should I keep going?
Man, go ahead. Go ahead, actually.
Are you sure this is kind of your deal? I just kind of grabbed it and ran. And
no, you're good, man. Go ahead.
Okay, and typically when you say draft pick, people think, football, basketball, baseball, blah, blah. So Noah mentioned the idea to a friend, and his friend goes, oh, when you did the ATM draft picks, I thought you guys were going to do like fantasy draft every week where you picked your fantasy band. So we talked about it. Well, we should do that. So let's do that right now. And so we both have comprised our own quote unquote fantasy metal team or fantasy metal band, I guess, as it were.
Yeah. Kind of the dream team, the late 1980s Chicago Bulls, you know. Hell yeah. Do you want to go first, Aaron?
No, you go ahead. This was your idea.
Okay. I've got a total of 6 members. I didn't come up with a band name, however. I sketched this shit down last second, but I've been thinking about it all day. If we do this again in the future, and if we have listeners come up with their own too, I think band name is crucial because you're selling this band. Okay, but I'm going to go. Here we go. Vocals for start, I got Joe Duplantier from Gojira. And then on guitars, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his whole name, so I'll go with his nickname, which is Vogue, and he's the guitarist for Decapitated. He's a bad son of a bitch. And then second guitarist, I have Eddie Pickard. He's from Black Tongue and Infinite Annihilator. That dude's a beast. On bass, I got Ryan Martini Rhino from Mudvayne.
Ooh.
Yeah, that just
happened. You get a little tap on the dick for that one. Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
On drums, I got Tomas Hawk from Meshuggah.
Yeah.
And then I prompted to add a keyboardist sampler because he's also a vocal threat that not a lot of people think about. But Justin Fowler, the keyboardist sampler from American Head Charge.
Okay, if you're going to add one, I got to give you props for that, dude.
So, yeah, that's my list. Joe Duplantier, Gojira, Vogue from Decapitated, Eddie Pickard from Black Tongue, Infinite Annihilator, Rhino from Mudvayne, Thomas Hawk, Meshuggah, Justin Fowler, Head Charge. Boom.
That's pretty good.
Just happened.
Pretty good. They would open for this band. Do you want to hear who?
Fuck off. Yeah, I do.
So I'm going to go. Okay, so bass. He's as great a pocket bass player as he is, but he's one of my favorite all-time dudes, and it's Mr. Jason Newsted.
Oh, I love
the guy's just so fucking metal on stage with just sitting there headbanging and just crushing low end. So Jason Newsted on bass, on rhythm guitar, because I thought like you, he's also a vocal threat, and he writes some of the best riffs and harmonies you'll ever hear. Rob Flynn.
Okay, there you go.
On lead guitar, I think he writes tasteful stuff. He shreds. He's short, but yet he's not afraid to jump off of anything I've ever seen. These guys like to drink like crazy. They're some of the best dudes in the whole wide world. That's Mr. Buzz McGrath from Unearth.
There you go.
Shred City. And he's
City,
just
USA.
one of the best guys ever.
Yep.
Love those dudes. Okay, drums. This was really, really close. So it was like 51-49. Chris Adler won over Danny Carey. But Chris Adler from Lamb of God and Protest the Hero for one record. And then on vocals, you know, honestly, I almost said me because if it's my fantasy team, I'm going to want to see these guys.
I was just about to say, you can't nominate yourself, asshole.
But I did
see it on your face that you wanted to.
I didn't. It was tempting, but I didn't. My singer, and I have to preface this because at this point in time, not only was he vocally one of the best in the business and still has churned out some of the stuff best in the business, but live, he could do it like nobody else. And that's the vulgar display of power to far beyond driven era Philip Anselmo in vocals.
Yes, sir.
The greatest. I mean, that is metal vocals 101 that period of time because he could do it all. He could still sing really good. He could write. He had the great harmonies. And then, I mean, you get some of that stuff on Far Beyond Driven and it's damn near early death metal vocals.
And let's get a poll going here. We will do this too. I will start a poll after this show with my fantasy dream team heavy metal lineup and Aaron's, and we'll get all you guys to vote on whose band do you think would be better live. How about that?
I like that. I didn't. Hey, you guys put yours in the comments or call in anytime. You guys know the number 620-604-9819. Call in at any time and then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell us, give us another one. Give us something we missed. That'd be awesome.
And if you guys ever have any little silly fucking ideas like this literally just turned into a thing. Like this was something that my guitarist Kevin and Bleed said, "Oh, well, that's what I thought you meant." And I said, no, but that's a cool fucking idea. So we're going to run with that. And then here we are. And we had fun and thought it was silly, and fuck you guys if you don't like it. But anyway, what I'm getting at is if you guys have any ideas like this for silly little shit that you'd like to see us talk about, or would like to hear us talk about if you're not watching.
Just got one. I just got one sent to me on Facebook. The name of the band would be Dread with 2 Ds, D-R-E-D-D.
That was a band. That was an unsigned local band in Southern California that back in the early Bleed days. But yeah.
Yep. So this would be, Brett says Dio on vocals, Dimebag and Kerry King on guitar, Cliff Burton on bass, and Vinnie Paul on drums. Because you can't have Vinny and Dime without being together, you know.
Yeah, you can't have one without the
other. And I'm
other.
not mad at that a bit. I didn't mean that sarcastically. I'm just saying
that
those two lay down the best groove of all time
together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, without question. Wow, imagine that lineup if like that power band came out in like 1995.
I don't know if Dio's vocals fit with those two guitar players though.
Dude, if David
I'm acting like the guy couldn't go, bitch, please.
Yeah, exactly.
What can't I sing over?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think Dime was such an eclectic guitar player. He was able to play anything to mold and cater to and support any type of vocal style. You know what I mean? Out there. I don't think that would have been a question. I think Dio would have been able to do that without. Yeah.
And he and Kerry have already played together before, way back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. When?
I don't know how many people know that. We're not going to get into that whole story, but yeah, they were. Anyway, what did you say? Was that an old guy joke?
No, you started to say that I could tell you didn't want to talk about it anymore. I go, when? Like, we're not gonna talk about that anymore.
Yeah. Oh God, you go far enough back in the early days of Pantera. You know, you start talking about their glam metal band. Hey, when they were a glam band, they played a game room that I used to hang out at. A game room. Video games, foosball, pool, yada yada yada.
Oh, game with an M.
Game.
You have to accentuate that M in there.
And okay, so you know where our practice rooms were, that building, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you went down there and like where the dumpsters and stuff were, that building that faced like kind of was perpendicular to our building, you go around to the other side of that building facing Shields, and that was where this game room Jammers was, and they played there. And this is 87, 88 when they were a glam band. Yeah, before Phil, pre-Phil.
So that would have made you like 31, 32?
I think it was I think we had my 40th birthday there. That night in 87.
It doesn't get old. I'm catching you in age, but it doesn't ever get old, does it?
No.
Nope.
But like I said, it's cool that I've seen. I mean, there's so much early metal stuff that I got to see. Again, I got to see Cliff live.
Yes.
So whatever.
I can talk all the shit I want, but literally, I never saw Alice in Chains live, and that's that was my favorite band growing up, absolute hands down favorite. Never got to see him. I thankfully did get to see Pantera with Dime. I did get to see that, and I got to see that more than once, so I was happy about that.
Saw Alice in Chains, not one, not two, 3 times. The first time was in a teeny tiny club when they had just started went out for Facelift, maybe 80 people. And then we saw them with Circus Power and the Ginger Baker band, Masters of Reality at the fairgrounds, and that was only about 1,000 people, but there was no barricade, so we were right up on Jerry's monitor the whole show, and then saw them when they opened for Ozzy. No, I think I've seen them 4 times, and then saw them when they headlined Lollapalooza with Primus.
Well, I'm glad you remember that 4th one, because at first I was like, okay, big fucking deal. You saw him 3 times, and then you're like, no 4th. So now I think you're way cooler than I did before.
I've been waiting to figure out how to make you go, man, Aaron, he's my friend and all, but he's just not cool. But not now, today. Cool. Woo!
Hey, should we take a quick break? What do you think?
Yes, let's take a quick break. And then what do we got coming up? Tell everybody who's coming up.
Yes, we got our good friend, Mr. Tim. He was Within the Ruins for a great number of years with all their great albums. He's going to be calling in here right after this break. So Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is All Things Metal.
Okay, Atari, let's see your best pitch.
You're out, Rose.
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
You can't keep me in here, Atari.
Don't tonight. Play it.
It's yours?
No,
Your mother said she found it in your closet.
I don't know. One of the guys must have...
Must have what?
Look, Dad, it's
Where
not...
did you get it?
Dad,
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Parents who use drugs have children who use drugs.
What's up, everybody? This is Noah Robinson with All Things Metal. You'll see Aaron. He's avoiding the camera for some fucking reason. I don't know. He looks like he has diarrhea or some shit. Anyway, we got our good friend here, Mr. Tim Goergen, within the ruins. How you doing, brother?
Chilling. How's it going, man?
It's going fucking excellent. What do you got there? What do you nursing?
Some bullet bourbon.
Bullet bourbon. Hey, buddy.
With 2 rocks.
We might get kicked off for showing this shit live too, you know, because of copyright. But that's what I got on right there.
The crown.
Hello, gentlemen. Bear with me. Sorry, I had to go get ice to put on my back. I threw my back out again today. So.
You know, the best thing about this show so far, Tim, is that you and I were just in the middle of a conversation. Aaron just wanders back in like a fucking child that wanders in the middle of a movie. It's like, hey guys, I'm back. Now let's talk to me.
Yeah, they saw when it came back up. I was like, wait, where's Aaron?
Yep. How you doing, Tim?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you officially.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, brother. So how things been? You been all right?
Been good, man. Just been enjoying life. Normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good, man. Just been working, hanging out with the lady. We just moved to Brooklyn a couple weeks ago, so been enjoying that very much, and yeah, just been enjoying my time.
Hell yeah, man. And we'll get more into that. That's actually kind of involved with one of our questions that we're going to be discussing with you here in a little bit. But what was your earliest introduction to metal? Do you remember?
I do. It was back in, I want to say I was in like 5th or 6th grade. I was already into like rock, like Guns N' Roses and stuff like that, but I was more getting into hip hop. And my dad was like, pretty much like, no, I don't think you should be listening to hip hop. So
yeah, he's like, no, you're not. You said, Dad, I'm really into hip hop. He said, no, the fuck you're not.
So he bought me the White Zombie Astro Creep 2000 record.
Hey, buddy, check it. Right
yeah,
there.
I saw it on the first episode. I was like, oh shit, he's got that poster sick.
Hell yes.
But yeah, so that basically got the ball rolling. And yeah, from there I started listening to obviously Pantera, Metallica, everything that was everything at that point in time.
All of the most influential metal shit that influenced all of American metalheads.
Yeah. And then once I got into high school, it was more like I got more into like the new metal stuff, you know, Korn and Mudvayne, Slipknot and all that. And then beyond that, I started to get more into like death metal, like super serious shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know very many people that started out with death metal. I think Austin, my drummer, was one of the few people that even when we were young and we were jamming together, I used to ask him, you know, what were some artists or some bands that you grew up listening to? He's like, dude, my dad loves Morbid Angel. I'm like, my dad, my God, my dad would have killed me if he ever even knew that I listened to a band called Morbid Angel. And Austin's dad was like jamming out Slayer, Morbid Angel, and Cannibal Corpse and shit with Austin when he was a kid, you know? So yeah, not many people start with death metal. You kind of got to work up to it. You know?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we actually did a tour with Morbid Angel, which was bizarre.
You got to see Pete the Feet in the flesh, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, the dude's a beast.
This dude's rad, though. This dude's a rad.
Yeah, I've heard they're really great guys. I've never got to meet them, but I heard they're really great guys.
Yeah.
At what point after getting into, you know, because I'm sure it wasn't like you listened to metal for the first time and you're like, that's what I want to do. You know, you probably listened to it, just enjoyed it. But at what point did you realize that metal was your calling? You know, when did it click?
It kind of clicked right away, honestly. But as far as wanting to pursue metal and wanting to do it, that happened when my dad took me to see the first Black Sabbath reunion. It was Black Sabbath, Pantera, and the Deftones.
Nice.
I was 14. It was like for my 14th birthday. And the second Pantera hit the stage, they opened up with Great Southern Tranquil. Boom, right off the bat. And I was like, yeah. That's when it clicked. I was just like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, I picked up a guitar and found friends to jam with, and that's where it all kind of started for me.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about bands and stuff. Who are some of your influences? It doesn't have to necessarily be vocalists, just in general. I'm a vocalist, but one of my biggest influences is Jason Newsted. So. Okay.
I named off a bunch of bands before, the obvious ones, Pantera, Metallica, Slayer, all those. But what really gripped me later on in life was definitely like Slipknot and bands like Mudvayne and Nothing Face and Spineshank. As a vocalist and a lyricist, those bands really they didn't really talk about too much cheesy shit. They kind of did here, but it was a little bit more in depth, and that kind of really gripped me and made me want to be a vocalist, because I was a guitar player from like 14 until I was 17.
Yeah.
Around that. So yeah, I'd say
what players are your influences? What musicians are you influenced by?
Musicians. Jesus. I have to say, well, I'm not really, I still dabble in guitar, so I don't like take influence from musicians per se, but there's stuff that I do dig, and then that I would like to, implement in bands that I would join moving forward.
Sure.
I can't narrow that down. I don't
know. No worries.
No, that's we just
so broad,
Yeah, we just asked you 3 questions that were like all very, very similar. It was a test, Tim, and you passed. We're gonna move on. If you fuck that up, we were just gonna hang up.
All right, bye. Cool.
Well, good to talk to you, buddy. Have a good one. What would you say? Because we ask everybody this that's on the show, every musician anyway. What would you say was your, as Aaron and I put it, your fucking A moment? That one time where you just, it was different. It stood out, and you just went fucking A. Like, this is it.
It's a combination of 2 separate moments, but they kind of share the same thing, because we were playing in 2 different countries. When we first toured Russia and when we first toured Japan, and we were headlining and we were pulling hundreds of kids, it was just kind of like, what the fuck? This is fucking wild, man. And these kids, like, we didn't have distribution in these countries or anything like that, and they had our physical CDs and vinyl and stuff, and they knew all the words, which was a mind fuck for me. But I'd say that was my holy shit, this is wild. That's fucking A moment.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Aaron, have you ever played in Japan?
No, we had a Japanese tour booked when the band split up, but that's another story for another time.
See, we never even had one booked. So we did an overseas stint, and I can tell you that was
Europe. Yeah, first Euro tour was amazing.
Oh, and dude, it's one thing to play out of state and have fans, and you go, how the fuck did these people know, who we were, and they show up wearing shit.
But then you get on a plane.
Yeah, then you cross over a body of water, across the ocean, and I specifically remember, and we were on tour with Hatebreed and Napalm Death.
That's pretty bad.
I remember taking the fucking and we were like the second band out of 7. So I mean, we went on early. We get, you get the shitty crowd at that point. And right. I remember in Holland, we went on, and dude, there was probably 1,500-1,600 people there already at like 7 p.m., like maybe even 6:30 p.m. And there was probably 30, 40 fucking kids in the front wearing Bleed the Sky shirts, like t-shirts we had never even seen. They're singing every fucking word back to us, and we were like, oh my God, you know what I mean? That is incredible. When you go somewhere, like you said, you get on an airplane and you cross over an ocean and then you land and people know who you are. That's fucking cool.
There's nothing like it. And another fucking moment would be when we played in Mexico and there were dudes selling our shirts outside the show, like bootlegged as fuck. Like,
yes.
Like,
did you buy one?
I'm in the band. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
I remember, you've made it when you have bootleggers.
Yeah, but I remember going to shows like, stadium tours and stuff, and there'd be dudes in the parking lot selling the tour shirts.
Yeah.
That was like that kind of moment for me. I was like, whoa.
Did you get one?
I did, and then I lost it
Fuck.
through moving and stuff. Yeah, it sucks. I kept all my laminates, though. All my laminates and a lot of tour posters I still have, though.
Yeah, cool. Hell yeah, man. Let me ask you this. Is the level of success that Within the Ruins has reached, is that where you hoped it would have been, or has it far surpassed what you ever imagined?
Obviously, when you're in a band, you want to, go above and beyond everything, whatever expectations you might have. But I'd say the status that we were at, I think the band is still going to go upwards because they're still continuing on without me. The sky's the limit. But I think we achieved quite a bit. I think we were a bit underrated, and I think fans will, concur with me on that. But
100% agree.
Considering all that, and some of the odds being against us in some parts of our career, I think we did all right. I think we did pretty damn good.
Good. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you guys, because I've been listening to you guys for quite a while, but when I heard of you guys already had like 2 full albums out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I heard you guys super early on. So I heard later on. And to me, that was criminal, because as soon as I heard you guys, I said, how in the hell have I never heard of this band before? It was just unbelievable. It's
funny because even like in this era of the band, people are still like, how have I never heard of you guys? How long have you guys been around? It's like 10 years.
Yeah, right.
It's like, but there's, with the internet and everything, there's so much to digest and so much coming at you every day, like new music wise. Like there's only so much people can handle,
Yeah. Well, and you touched on this, but safe word cheeseburger, if I cross any lines here, but what was what was your main decision for stepping down from Within the Ruins? And was it a mutual decision? Was it a...
Yeah, it was mutual. There's 3 factors that came into play. First was health, because the road can take quite a toll on your body, especially doing it for so long. And then there's the stress on the personal life and the stress financially. But the health thing it happened sooner than I stepped down sooner than I would have liked to, because we did a headliner last fall. And about halfway through, I had I have high blood pressure. It's a condition that I just have, and the road isn't very, very good for that condition. So
not very forgiving.
Yeah. So basically, my blood pressure spiked. I had to go to the hospital, and this isn't the first time this has happened since being in the band. And we were in Vegas, and the doctor advised me to fly home and not continue the tour, and the band had no choice but to finish the tour, So my friend Steve, who is now the vocalist for Within the Ruins, came out and filled in for me. And that whole process was rough, man. I didn't want to step down. I really didn't want to, but it came to a point where I was like, I can't put my guys in that situation ever again. And it was time for me to step up and own up and kind of, move on. And the guys were super gracious about it. They gave me 2 bangers of last shows, and I still love the guys to death. And I think one of them is watching, or 1 or 2 of them. So
yeah, I think we've got Steve and
even Joe.
Steve checked in, and what was the other one?
Joe.
See, I I've met Steve and Paolo, right? Both are within the New Orleans now, right? From
Yeah,
their old band, Silence the Messenger.
Right. Yeah.
I've got to know those guys through another buddy, mutual buddy. So,
Nice.
Great dudes. Great band. Also,
it's within the Messenger now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. You guys are all still friends, and that it all worked out with friendships intact. That's fucking awesome.
100%. And we're not counting anything out as far as like a reunion show later down the line or anything like that goes. And yeah. That's basically it. That was my reason for stepping down.
So you said earlier you are enjoying being home though, and I know from firsthand experience, and Aaron does too. We've all been where you're at as far as departure, and in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, but departure at any level of success is rough. I mean, being in a band, especially being in a metal band, that's an emotional tie that's unlike any other career choice you could ever have. Has the joy of being home and being off of tour and being out of the band, has that worn off? Because I know that for a while, whenever you first get home, you just kind of go, and you're glad to be home. Yeah, exactly. You're like, finally, I can sleep in my own bed, and I get to do things with this beautiful woman that I haven't been able to do in a long time. Like you miss all those things. Well, now that you're back home and you've kind of settled back into that, has that worn off yet? Or are you still enjoying it being at home?
I'm still enjoying it because after I had flown home from the last tour, which was in November, my lady, she was doing her TV show thing, and I would fly out to go see her and fly home. So this is like from, I'd say like March until now is like the first time I've actually been home every day consistently. And
right.
It's been amazing, but it hasn't worn off yet. I don't think I'm.
Well, just know that you got two dudes right here that, because it will, I can 100%. One day you will wake up and just fucking hate it. And you're not wrong. You know what I mean? But you will wake up one day and go, I should fucking be out there, and you're going to be pissed about it. I think that's a natural emotion to go through, but just know you got two dudes here that when you hit that point, you got two dudes here to call.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Definitely. Yeah. I have friends, over the years that have, left their bands, and either the band broke up or anything like that. And they said the same exact thing. And I've had PTSD symptoms, I guess, to where like you have the dreams. I don't know if you have the dreams where you're like back on tour, back on stage, like, and you wake up and it's like, wow, what the fuck, man?
Mine's usually that I'm still in bed and I wake up and go, what the fuck is that? That's Bleed the Sky. Where is that coming from? And I like walk out of my bedroom, and I'm not really in my bedroom. I was like backstage on a couch, and I fell asleep, and my band's on stage playing without me, and the crowd is just loving that it's an instrumental, and I'm losing my shit. I'm like, fuck no, but I can't go out there, because I'm just in my underwear and shit. Yeah, it's so stupid.
The brain is a funny thing, man.
Yes, it is.
It'll get you.
Take it, Aaron.
What if you could pick one thing about the industry, the business part of being in music, the music business? You bitch about one thing about it. What would it be?
I'd say the whole where the industry's at in general. Just there's no residual income for musicians anymore at all. It doesn't exist. And that's what kept bands going back in the day for 10 to 12 records. That it just doesn't happen anymore. You got to stay on the road, and you got to grind your ass off to make a living now. And when you're not on the road, you're not making money. And I think that's something that needs to change. And I think it's going to change. It's kind of in the gray area right now as far as like with all the streaming and everything goes, and how that money gets distributed between labels and bands and all that. Hopefully it turns around soon, because there's a lot of good bands out there that deserve to still be doing it for a while, and that's one thing I realized doing this for so long, you meet bands and they come and go so quickly now. They put out a debut record and they're hot, and then they put out a sophomore and then they're broken up. It's like because they can't afford to be in a band anymore, you know.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, I know a guy on here that exact thing happened to.
Yeah.
This guy.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we did. We we had to basically call it done after our sophomore album, because you're right. They just, unless we were touring non-fucking stop, they're just the money just wasn't there, you know?
Yeah.
And Aaron and I have talked before, and I mean, I think we'd all agree at some point, if you're not making money at it, there are ways to make money at it. The downside with being in metal is there's really no way in metal to make money at it. It's just kind of a, reach into the hat and draw a card, and maybe you drew the right one.
Exactly.
But to be in a metal band that, in my opinion, that you're happy with and that you feel like you're not catering to anybody. You're just doing what you want to do. Unfortunately, that isn't what cuts it anymore. This isn't the, 60s and 70s where it was just like the most free-spirited, badass, emotional, natural music was what sold. And those were the motherfuckers making a shitload of money. Well, now when you do that and you're a metal band because you love it, there's just no monetary value to that. It kind of sucks. I mean, but at the same time, everybody going into metal should understand that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well established. Like I have friends that were actually in a band called Archaic when I met Bleed the Sky. They're starting to do stuff again in a new band called Crown of Despair, which actually I did guest vocals on one of their songs. It's not released yet, but they're getting the feel for how brutal the industry is, and they haven't even played a show yet. I'm kind of like trying to like coach them through it so they don't. I mean, they get to learn shit on their own, but just so there's no like surprises. Like, what the fuck? We had to pay out of our asses, pay out of our pockets to play tonight. Like,
yep.
Like, yeah, and you're gonna have to do that for a while.
Yeah, no. Hell yes, man. Hey, oh God, what was I gonna ask you?
Yeah. Let me throw a thought in on that. Back in the day, in this little scene of Oklahoma City, bands used to get pissed about the whole having to sell tickets, pay to play, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. It sucks. But at the same time, I'm like, you don't even have a clue, you guys, of what it's like everywhere else but here, because it was such a small niche market. Yep. We all knew each other, and the promoter actually literally loved us all.
Yeah.
As guys and as people, and not as just commodities. That these bands were, well, we sold 30 tickets and we had to go on at 6:30. Man, shut up, dude. Just play.
Yeah. You got to earn your stripes, man.
Yeah, and then they'd get pissed over the dumbest things, like, what do you mean we can't use the drum riser, or what do you mean we can't drink all the headliners' beer? And just bands would just bitch about the dumbest shit. Well, how come we don't get beer? And I'm like, fuck, guys, I don't know, but that's mine. Eat a dick. I don't know where yours is.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me an asshole. It just makes me the guy that's going to drink that beer.
Like, man, I drove through the night from fucking Corpus Christi, Texas to be here tonight. I'm drinking my beer.
Yeah, right.
And see, in my band, we all we would insist that we had booze. Like, we didn't even care about the food. It was like the two main things on our rider was clean socks and booze. Like, that was it. Yeah. We used to get clean socks, because you take it.
We did that as a joke on one European tour. We never got socks, but yes, booze is always a priority.
But yeah, in our band, it was fighting over who got it, because inevitably they wouldn't bring like 2 or 3 small bottles of the same monetary value. They would bring one giant fucking bottle, and then me being the drunken buffoon that I am, sometimes I would lie to the guys and be like, I didn't even see it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And
well,
yeah, exactly. Me and our drum tech, or me and our merch guy would be over there fucking just like plugging it behind the van, like lying to the guys about it. Hey man, you were telling me I want to change gears here really quick for just a minute, but you were telling me something about your girlfriend and how she's involved in Ink Masters, the show. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
She was a contestant on season 8 of Ink Master.
Badass.
And she made friends with this girl Ryan Ashley and Kelly Doty on that season, and basically they started like posting pictures together, and like, you know, they formed a girl alliance on the show and stuff, and that really took off with fans and stuff. So the network decided to give them their own show called Ink Master Angels, and they the second season is just about wrapping up now. But yeah, it's pretty awesome to see. They gave her own show, and I bust her chops because I call her famous all the time. And
yeah,
no, it's super good for her career. It's awesome to watch.
It's cool to hear them breaking that to that high of a level in an industry that is still. You say tattoo artist and everybody thinks big fat guy with a bandana on his head. You know what I mean? Nobody understands that there's some really, really, really talented ladies out there that are just rushing it.
It's a very very male dominated field for sure.
Very much so. They're kind of bridging the gap.
Awesome
thing, and yeah, definitely on the show they showcase some female artists and stuff. So
what's her name, if you don't mind us asking? You want to plug her name on there?
Nikki Simpson.
Nikki Simpson.
My babe.
The only reason I was actually asking is because I need to get her on here too. I think you and I talked about this, but she needs to not be too rich and famous and too stuck up.
No. I talked to her about it. She's down. It's funny. She's in the next room over cooking dinner right now, so she can hear everything you're saying.
She's in the next room over, like Scrooge McDucking in a bathtub full of $100 bills right now.
No, man, she's making me dinner.
Oh, that's great. Hey, okay, we got one that we ask everybody that's on here, and usually they're pretty epic. But what is your absolute non-metal guilty pleasure? Something you listen to that is probably going to make viewers not like you so much anymore.
No pressure.
It used to be dubstep, but I don't listen to dubstep anymore, really.
But see, some dubstep is heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
It's not too.
No, dude, I'm talking the gayest. Like when your girlfriend walks in the room, you turn the shit down and go, "What? Huh? No, I wouldn't do nothing." Embarrassing.
I don't have too many. I'm a pretty open book, but the other day I was blasting the new Post Malone, and she walked in and was like, "What the fuck? You like Post Malone?" I was like, "Yeah, this shit's sick." It is sick. Dude's talented as fuck. He's ugly as sin, but perfect can sing.
That's fucking true. Aaron, what's yours? We haven't got into this person.
Mine is Seal, probably.
Seal's great.
Yeah.
I have the greatest hits on my iPhone.
Yeah, I really, really like Seal a lot.
Yeah.
What about yours? I've heard some of yours. Wait a minute. You guys, we'll sit around in his garage and we'll party, and inevitably at some point in the night, the Spotify changes from to the lamest.
Down in Africa.
But see, Toto's good. I'm talking about some like Huey Lewis and the News will be jamming in the background.
Hell yeah, they are.
And Noah is just singing.
Oh, dude, I grew up on like the gayest of the gay pop stuff, and just straight up like Huey Lewis but now even still, I'll fight anybody that says they suck. Like Huey Lewis, Robert Palmer, some of that shit back in the day. Oh God, even old Phil Collins, man. Like the stuff.
I'm talking Phil Collins today, actually.
Hell yeah, but I bet it wasn't this Phil Collins. I'm talking like the old school Phil Collins that really wasn't that great. You know what I mean? he had his moments, but not all of it was fantastic.
Yeah, I was just listening to the greatest hits.
There you go, man.
Very nice. Hey, what's some new metal you're into that you might want to expose on people who may not have heard of it? What's some new stuff you're stuck on right now?
Well, definitely the new Seven Dust. That goes without saying.
We've both been talking about that for a couple of weeks too.
Also, my friend Tommy Vex's band, Bad Wolves, record's incredible. It's called Disobey. I don't know if you heard they put out the zombie cover.
Right, right.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, they better put out a banger of a record to support this because it's like a #1 single all over the place.
Yeah, if the rest of the record sucked, yeah.
Yeah, they fucking delivered, man. That record's sick.
That's funny. I just got an IM as we've been on the air. My buddy going, "Hey, check these guys out," and it was Bad Wolves.
Yeah, fucking
Nice.
awesome.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've been jamming the new Tesseract.
Yeah.
The new Perfect Circle is pretty rad.
Dude, how weird is that though? Like that.
I mean, just look at the cover. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but like I expected, you know, about 3-4 songs in to have that, yeah, you know, just something, you know, because they always have like just like that heavy as fuck groove that really. I haven't found it yet.
Yeah,
It's still
A
good.
different record.
It's a different record for sure.
Yeah.
And one more band that I definitely need to mention is Rivers of Nile.
Yes.
Their
That's
band-
shit, dude. That's my jams.
Yeah, they're coming to Brooklyn soon. I owe the drummer and the singer a shot of Jameson.
Nice.
Hey, do me a favor when you see them too, turn them on to this because I absolutely have them on my list of want to reach out to and have them or whoever
please.
the spokesperson is on this show. We would love
to have those guys.
Rivers
Big
of
fans,
Nile
both
here.
of us.
Yes, both of us are.
I'm not on like a text them basis, but you know, next time we hang out, I'll definitely mention it.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Appreciate
Well,
it.
I mean, you know, whenever you're buying them the drinks that you owe them, just slip a little roofie in there, just Bill Cosby them, and when they wake up in the morning, you know, they have like a
Podcast,
tattoo.
by the way.
do it on a Wednesday night, and then when they wake up Thursday, they'll have headsets on. They'll be in front of the camera. You go, "Oh, by the way, you're doing this."
Yeah.
That's awesome, Tim. It has been a pleasure, man. And hey, I just want to say real quick too, Tim and I talked back and forth through text message for, I don't know, a good probably day or two. You know, once we got into contact and we were talking about doing this show, and I finally sent Tim an email with all the info we needed for the show, and he sends it to me, and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, nah, I can't, no, fuck no. And then I did something else. I come back to it. I reopened it again, and I opened it, and I was like, motherfucker, I know this guy. Like I remember. Do you remember? Do you remember the show that you and I talked about? Because once that kind of clicked, and we both went, oh yeah, and this and that. We were outside. You and I were outside, hanging out, drinking, like just on the streets of New York, hanging out, just drinking by our van. And you at the time, did you work for Sprint?
No, I didn't work for Sprint.
But you were just a badass that said, "Let me talk to him."
Yeah, I was drunk and had I had a set on me that night.
So I'm on the phone with Sprint trying to just hammer this shit out with him. Like, come on, turn my fucking phone back on, this and that. Tim goes, "Give me the fucking phone." Tim takes my phone and he just lays into these motherfuckers. Like this woman probably wanted to kill herself after she got off the phone with him. He just laid into him, tore into it, got my entire bill wiped clean. I think they sent me a new phone after you got off the phone with him. Like all this crazy shit.
What you're saying is you owe me, right?
That is absolutely accurate that I owe you, man. And if you ever come through Oklahoma for any fucking reason, I don't care if it's a family reunion, anything, just traveling through and you have to stop in Oklahoma City for 2 hours, hit me up. Me and Aaron are buying you a beer. We'll hang out.
Many beers.
Yeah,
A beer.
Yeah.
A beer, yeah.
I said
a beer.
Because
100 beers.
Yeah, because a beer is worth all the Sprint bullshit that he took there.
Right.
Beer in Oklahoma is really expensive. So a beer.
By the way, I just wanted to say, back in the day when I first met Bleed the Sky, I booked you guys in New York and my band played. You guys stayed with me for 2 days.
Yep.
And those 2 days is like, I saw like band on tour. Like I was like, I want to fucking do this. That's what put the nail in the coffin for me. I was like, I got to do this. A year later, I joined another band, went on tour, booked their own tour, met within the ruins, and then the rest is history from there.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's pretty damn awesome.
Well, you are most welcome. And dude, thank you for the hospitality back in the day. There are not nearly enough people. There are quite a few, but there are not nearly enough people like you around that are willing to just open their door and help out bands that are clearly struggling like we were at the time. So thank you as well. We really appreciate that. Hell yeah, buddy. We're going to let you go. We're going to take a quick break. Tim, it was awesome, brother. Thank you so fucking much.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Likewise.
Good luck with everything.
You guys don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. This is All Things Metal.
What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
When you're watching TV boxing bouts with fighters swinging hooks and clouts, the moment that bell begins to sound, it's Pabst Blue Ribbon from the very first round. What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Smoother, smoother, smoother flavors, zest and sparkle, millions favor. Taste that smoother, smoother flavor.
Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Finest beer served anywhere. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
We're doing alright. A little jiving on a Saturday night. And come what may. Doing alright.
Pioneer Car Audio. Met afneembaar fonds.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to All Things Metal. I'm Aaron, one of your hosts. Noah is indisposed at the moment. I think maybe he had to poop. But it's another thing. Just remember, if you've got carpal tunnel, it's hard to poop with the other, or wipe with the other hand. It's a formative piece of science that Noah shared with us earlier. I'm going to go to, we're just talking about new releases coming up tomorrow. There's not a whole lot really happening. For fans of early days of metalcore, California band called Bleeding Through has got back together. Love Will Kill All. That's out tomorrow, as is the solo record from Mr. Jonathan Davis of Korn called Black Labyrinth. That's out tomorrow. Again, Jonathan Davis. Neurosis has a reissue of their Pair of Mind. And good old school band from way, way back in the day, Saxon, has got 3 reissues coming out tomorrow. The reissues of Crusader, Denim and Leather, and Power and Glory. All those are coming out tomorrow. I think that's really cool. Saxon was a band. Again, it's no joke, and everybody knows I'm a little older. So Saxon was a band that was around in the 80s when I was getting into metal. And every time I think about Saxon, I think of the video from the home video stuff of from Pantera back when they were over in Russia, and their backstage green room was a tent. They got a half a bottle of some kind of liquor, and when Phil and I think Rex and Dime are out with the camera and they're filming the crowd, and they say, "Where are everybody's in town for the annual Saxon concert?" Because all the Russians still had denim back in those days. All the guys were still wearing lots and lots of denim, but
how come every time I walk away and then come back, you're talking about old guy stuff?
Because I have to squeeze it in.
That's what she said.
Yeah. There's me and 2 other old guys. We have to talk about the AARP metal news of the moment. Speaking of metal news,
yeah, we got some interesting stuff on.
We got a couple of. I got 3 that I want to talk about. And first one kind of goes along with the topic that we've touched on every episode so far, and it goes along with the business. And the headline reads: Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson, quote, "The music industry exploited its customers." And basically the story goes that Bruce talks about how labels had lots of early indications that Netflix was coming, and then Netflix launched. They didn't take it seriously. They sat there. They were getting rich off of record sales for basically doing nothing.
Wait, Netflix?
No, I'm sorry, Netflix, Napster. My bad.
Napster.
They knew Napster was coming. Anyway, all they were doing was getting, they're getting paid a lot of money for not doing a lot. Napster comes along. They had they had indication it was coming. They didn't take it seriously. They felt like downloads would people would tire of downloads and not really want to get into it because of lack of interaction. They still believed you wanted to hold a physical, CD in your hand and read the liner notes, blah, blah, blah. Well,
mistaken.
Blah, blah, blah. And Bruce goes on to talk about the fact that they were lucky enough to be in a pretty elevated position that they kind of said, well, we're going to do it anyway. And, they kind of started the social media trend on their own and were able to interact with fans one-on-one. And it helped catapult their success even further. The bottom line of this is, once again, we show with the onset of Napster downloads the internet that the labels, not only did they screw the bands, they kind of screwed themselves too. Labels were their own worst enemy. And to this day, I believe they still are.
Yeah, I concur.
I thought that was an interesting take on it, how, they had an idea about it, and then it got brought in front of them. Napster takes off. Metallica and these people, go after it, shut that down. But then the label still, I don't think, did enough to prepare for the change in the industry with downloads and et cetera. And it's just a shame, because if the power of the internet would have been used properly from the get-go, maybe the industry would have been a lot different.
Yeah, it's hard for me to preach against it, because I've always been, from the second I found out that I could, download music and listen to it, I was one of those dudes. I won't lie about it. But Bleed the Sky also had the mentality of supporting that. We never cared as much, and maybe we should have, but we didn't care as much about album sales. We wanted to reach people that wanted to hear it. Mm-hmm. And at the time, that was like you're saying, Napster, LimeWire, some of those that were around back then. That was the absolute best way to get your hands on that kind of stuff. And we always used to tell our fans at shows, look, we would love it if you guys bought an album back there at our merch table, because that helps get us from point A to point B. But most importantly, just listen to our shit.
Yeah.
Go home and download it, steal it. I don't care. I don't care how you get it. I want it in your ears. I want you to hear it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But I just feel like if the labels would have embraced the technology properly, I don't know, learn how to exploit it, because let's be honest, that's what labels do. They exploited it. Okay, so they exploited it, but they would have exploited and been smart enough about it. Maybe it wouldn't have blown up so out of control that they could never get it back, and bands could have got paid and yada, yada, yada. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that, the mighty Bruce Dickinson, was calling them out. But okay, so are we ready? We'll move on to our next one, because we're getting close on time. And this is, especially after what happened right here in Oklahoma City tonight. We had a shooting at a local restaurant. So anyway, Ted Nugent suggests poor diets for children were contributing factor to school shootings. And I'll read that again.
You said that to me earlier. And
I'll read this again. Because
fuck off. But that's not all he's saying. That's
not all he's saying. Yeah, don't just we're going to get into it. Ted Nugent suggests poor diets for children were contributing factor to school shootings. Now, I say that I'm going to give you a condensed version of the story. So, read it, go to Metal Sucks and Blabbermouth or one of those and read the whole story, because it's if nothing else, it's an interesting take in some of his points. And if you're super left and liberal and this upsets you, I'm sorry, but some of his points are spot on.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it. Ted talks about diet, sugars, pharmaceuticals, preservatives, etc. Basically all the poisons that are put into our food every day are contributing factors to the lack of proper brain functions with kids. And we all know food that I ate when I was growing up is not the same as the food that the kids are eating today growing up. It's not even close.
But is it that? You know what? I don't know if I 100% agree with that, though. I mean, I know, like, when our parents were kids, that shit was different, because my dad used to go out and slaughter the cow. Like, that was their food. They would go out and they would slaughter it. I'm not saying everybody from that generation lived like that. But
I'm old enough that I lived in the generation where early on, milk was still brought to the house. You bought meat at a butcher market, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, So, but he's talking about all of the things. Shut up. He's talking about all of the things like pharmaceuticals, the fact that we over-medicate kids. There's all kinds of shit in our food, pesticides, GMO, all these things, and the fact that it's got to be a contributing factor to the zombie-like state that kids run around in. You take bad food, bad diet, you couple that with overstimulation and electronics and all these things, video games, blah, 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 blah. And this is the point I thought he made that was good. And this is when he says it's not just a gun issue. And this is what I agree with, because I've said the same thing. Being a parent of teenage girls, one is in college, one that's in high school, and knowing the world that they're in, it's not just a gun issue, it's a conduct issue. And this is, I'm quoting Ted Nugent here. Quote, it is a conduct issue. Now you add the violent video games, the violent movies, and you add the fact that parents often, more than not, just don't guide, don't nurture, don't discipline their children, and you've got kids out of control. Check out what we're feeding our children, and you'll answer to this calamity. Okay, so take the food part out of it. I think he touches on in my opinion, the biggest issue with these school shootings and everything is we just don't do a good enough job as parents. I don't think.
That I agree with. Do we have a caller that wants to call in and talk about this with us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, congratulations, Nick, by the way.
Hey,
but anyway, let's not get too far off topic.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your thoughts on it, buddy?
No, so I actually read the article with the Nuge, the big bad Nuge, and yeah, there are definitely a lot of other points that we're talking about here. Can we talk about Xanax? Can we talk about Ritalin? Can we talk about these other things? And this is not to turn all things metal into a political podcast at all, at all. But the Nuge is kind of a staple, in what we do, and he kind of changed guitar playing and kind of how we think about, which jam bands suck. But anyways, just to kind of talk about those things, I don't know how you guys are feeling about this, but it's kind of a political topic, and I kind of feel like it's kind of sketchy ground for you guys.
Well, man, and yeah, it is kind of. Yeah, we can't, I don't think the point of this show is to take any political stance, any religious stance, anything like that. But I can tell you, like, from what I know and from what I've seen and from these things, that I agree with probably about 50% of what the Nuge is saying. And I think it's fairly accurate. And I think it's
the same.
And I think the points that I would say are probably the same that the three of us would agree on. And I think those are because it's undisputable facts. There's actual science to back it. It's not just, him just going, well, they didn't grow up in Alabama, so that means they're queer. It ain't something like, it's not something that stupid. Like, he actually has, some facts to back it up. But
what are the reasons? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
Well, no, but this isn't the first time that somebody has said this is the reason. This is the reason. I mean, again, we, without going too much into that, metal has been blamed. Heavy metal has been blamed for kids spinning off and twisting shit and going into a school. I mean, Columbine.
It was Marilyn Manson. It was blamed on Marilyn Manson.
And I thought one of the best explanation, or not even explanations, but when Marilyn Manson was asked about that, and how do you feel knowing that this kid that went into Columbine and shot the place up and killed a bunch of people, how do you feel knowing he was a fan? Like, how does that make you feel? And he said, well, I'm sure that there are a lot of other people that listen to Marilyn Manson that have done that bad of things or similar things to that. But he said, well, what would you tell this kid if you would have had a chance to sit down with him? And he goes, I wouldn't have said a fucking word. I would have listened.
Yes.
I listened to anything and everything he wanted to talk about. But again, I'm getting off topic, but again, Nuge saying that, it's this and that and this and that. You can point the finger at anything and say that it could be anything, but heavy metal in the past has been a really easy scapegoat. I remember, and I don't remember the exact details, but there was one back when I was in high school where these kids like burned their school down or some shit like that. And it was, when they got arrested, they were wearing Offspring shirts. And and the Offspring had just put out that record called Smash.
Wow.
You remember in the in the opening track, smash it up. And then like, oh my God, Offspring is the devil, and they got in these fucking kids' heads. Like, it's just so easy to point a finger about dumb shit. I think it boils fucking down to, I think there is good and bad. I think there is holy and there is evil. Shit like that is fucking evil. There are just evil fucks out there, and there's nothing that is because you know what? I'm eating all the same fucking shitty food that these kids are eating.
Agreed.
So, I mean, you can't say it's one fucking thing. I think it's good or bad, point blank. I would kind of like to move on from this topic, Aaron, because I'm going to get worked up. And then I'm going to start Ninja Star in this microphone off this stand with my Ninja Stars.
I just want to say again, I want to kind of agree with the last point that he said, and this is we've all talked privately off the air. My point is, with all of this, is it a gun problem? It's a societal problem. It's a million things, but the root problem is good, valued kids who know their value and know the value of those around them because of parenting has instilled that in them. They don't shoot up their schools.
No.
We have to do a better job as adults of helping these kids and listening to these kids and being a part of their lives. That's what they want. That's what they want. Yep. They don't want you to go in the room and say, turn that Slayer off, and why are you doing this? They want you to identify with them. Maybe if more kids felt identified and didn't feel isolated, then they wouldn't go shoot up their schools. And we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna switch gears. Unless Nick, did you have one more point real quick before you get off?
I just wanted to point out to the listeners, like, thank you to Tim. I was highly tuned in.
Hell yeah.
He was saying, oh my God, beautiful agony. One of the most epic Within the Ruins tracks there is. Thank you, Tim, for that track specifically. Just one of the toughest breakdowns that you could ever hear. And also, just real quick, I wanted to give a shout out, if you guys don't mind, to a local band who just dropped a brand new video. This band is called Devil Theory. It's piloted by a couple of my best friends. They just dropped a new video for their song Hallowed Witch. And I wanted to throw that out. Go on YouTube. Go check this out. And well done video. Well done songwriting, story writing. The drums are awesome. The guitars is awesome. And of course, to Mr. the bass player, that bass tone is juicy, sir.
Cheers, guys. Hell of a job. Congratulations. We've been friends with all those guys for a long time. Congratulations, success.
Hell yes, guys. We will be back. We will be back after a quick break, Aaron, and then we'll get back to all things metal.
Woo. Just make your food fresh at Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Can you feel your taste buds tingle? Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Why just make you a burrito or a tasty enchilada? Tostadas and tacos made up fresh at Taco Bell. Put a smile on your face. Taco Bell. Everybody loves the taste. Taco Bell. 'Cause we're the fast food place. Taco Bell.
Is gasoline rationing imminent? A report at 11.
Yes, we know it's a big fluffy bun.
Talk to the manager.
It is the manager.
Where's the beef?
He's putting us under the supervisor.
If you ask me, which you didn't, we should call the owner.
At Wendy's, the hamburger we modestly call a single has more beef than the Big Mac or Whopper.
We've got the owner.
Hello? Where's the beef?
Wendy's kind of people never ask, where's the beef?
I don't think there's anybody there. I really don't.
God.
Where's the beef?
Commercials, man.
Woo woo! Welcome back, everybody. This is All Things Metal.
Yes.
I'm Aaron Corsons. That's Noah Face Rubber and Nick Head Scratcher. Hey, I got something. Look, we're getting close on time, so we'd like to go to final calls. You guys call in 620-604-9819. Talk about anything we've talked about, anything new. And we'll kind of go into this last thing to close out the night. I found this very interesting. This was on Metal Sucks today, metalsucks.com. The 50 most popular metal bands right now, according to the internet. Okay, I've got the top 10, actually the top 11, but there's three very interesting points further back in the countdown that I'd like to point out. Are we ready?
There are a couple that straight fucking pissed me off.
Okay, so number 44, who, when I opened this, I thought they were going to be number 1. Number 1, I thought they were going to be. They're number 44, Gojira.
What the fuck is wrong with the world?
6 spots from the bottom. Wait a minute. This will make even matter, Nick. Disturbed. The steaming pile of garbage that is Disturbed was number 42.
Ahead of Gojira. I fucking hate the internet after that.
Number 37. 37. I promise you, this is one of the top 5 smartest bands on the planet. They can shred balls over all of us. They could probably set us all on fire just by looking at us. Meshuggah.
Who is this?
Meshuggah. 37. Wait. Okay, so as if Disturbed being 2 spots ahead of Gojira wasn't enough, coming in at number 34, 3 spots ahead of Meshuggah. I can't believe this is Insane Clown Posse. They're not even. What?
Turn the streams off. Turn the servers off.
Wait a minute. While you're down, I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna kick you right in the stomach because at number 31,
I go off the grid earlier, and this is the fucking reason why.
At number 31, 13 spots ahead of Gojira, 6 spots ahead of Meshuggah, Limp Bizkit. I'm just gonna be quiet and let that marinate a minute.
Mr. Robinson, your reaction.
Okay, so we're going to skip down. Number 14 on this list. Number 14 on this list, and I'm not even sure they're really a band as much as it's like a theatrical show, much like Cats touring the country. Baby Metal.
What?
Right? Huh?
Are you sure they didn't? Oh, never mind.
Number 13, Lamb of God, and now I'll give you the top 11. Only one of these do I really
wait. What number was Lamb of God?
13.
So they didn't even make the top 10.
No, but the top 11. Number 11, Tool.
Okay.
Number 10, Pantera.
Hashtag Pray for America.
10 is what?
Pantera.
Okay. Should be number 1 or 2, but go ahead.
Yeah. Number 9, Machine Head.
Okay.
Number 8, Mastodon.
Okay.
Number 7, Iron Maiden.
All right.
Number 6, Guns N' Roses. Not metal. Hard rock? Yes, absolutely. Hell of a rock band. Arguably the best and last real American rock band of that style. The T-shirt and blue jeans rock band, but that's another conversation.
Well, I mean, in that vein, was Motley Crue on this list?
No, if they were, I don't know. I didn't.
Well,
no, they weren't. No, they weren't because
that's what I'm saying. They started pulling a band in like that doesn't really fit the metal scope.
Well, this is the most popular metal bands right now according to the internet, and they use Google Analytics, page views, clicks on, Blabbermouth, Metal Sucks, Metal Injection, all those, and built this algorithm. Yada yada. Okay, so anyway, 6 is Guns N' Roses, 5 Ghost.
Por qué?
Yeah.
Meshuggah's in the 30s, and Ghost made the top 5.
Hey, Gojira's 44. I thought they were going to be number 1.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Ghost is number 5, and then your top 4 are Megadeth, Slayer, Slipknot, and at number 1, Metallica.
Okay. I mean, that... Okay.
I mean, Metallica being number 1. Okay. No, Nick, Fear Factory was not on the list at all.
Right?
Son of a bitch.
I'm looking at comments. Yeah, that's another band I was like, where are they? I don't believe so. You can find the whole list on metalsucks.net. Is it? I think it's .net, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
But like, okay, so and then there's a companion article that I didn't read that was like, what this top 50 could say about the future of metal. And my first thought was, what are these kids listening to if they're not getting their junk knocked in the dirt by Gojira. It's the freshest, heaviest stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Why aren't they? I can understand if guys my age, guys in their 40s are going, go who? I mean, I still listen to Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth, yada, yada, yada. No, dude, you need to be getting into some of this newer stuff. Here's the best of the best.
Absolutely. I think Gojira is the saving grace of just pure metal right now. You know, because you have all these subgenres of, you got your gent and your deathcore and your metalcore and blah, blah, blah. I think out of all of those, every fucking band, like, and Bleed the Sky fell into a genre, so I can't even claim us. But I think Gojira is one of the few bands, probably the only one that comes to mind, that when you talk about them, you just say, that is metal. That is heavy metal. It covers everything. You take your 10-point checklist of, this is metal, this is metal, this is metal. And Gojira literally does every fucking one of them.
And they're just getting better and better and better. And the fact that they're only 44 leads me to believe people.
Hey, there's room to climb.
You ain't paying attention, folks. We're not paying attention.
And
the internet, we can't even blame just our ignorance here in America, because we tend to miss metal a lot. The internet, that's global, man. There's a beverage in here, man.
There's a beverage, man.
Well, like baby metal. I understand popularity, click views, blah, 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 people, but come on. Nick, go ahead. Nick's dying to say something.
Both of you guys know that European metal and doing tours through Europe and into, Eastern Europe and things, that metal is a thing. It's a real thing over there. And, Gojira, when they sell out, stadiums in France, and then they go 2 days and they sell out another stadium in Germany. I think that's, when they pull, because at Wacken Open Air, they have several different stages. And I've watched all of this live footage. I am a diehard Gojira fan. I've seen them back this up 100% live. Do you talk the talk or do you walk the walk? Gojira walks the walk live.
We've seen it live personally.
Yeah.
Yes. So even in Europe at like Wacken Open Air, Gojira is pulling 250,000 people to their stage to rock out with them. And for them to land at 44, I don't know. Are we talking ticket sales or are we talking?
No. It's based off of popularity on the internet. The headline read, quote, the 50 most popular metal bands right now according to the internet. And it was based on a Google algorithm, page views, clicks on social media, clicks on YouTube, clicks on the Metal Injection, Metal Sucks, Metal Blabbermouth, etc.'s of the world.
I hate to say it, but hashtag fake news. Fake news. Fake news, bros.
Well, okay, but like how is Insane Clown Posse even in this group? That's not metal.
Yeah. We're talking about juggalos and trap rap, or
those guys are in their own world. And I'm not mad at them, good, bad, or indifferent, but don't make them metal. They're over here in their own world. Limp Bizkit, how is Limp Bizkit even still factor into this equation?
Yeah, well, that's just it. If they say it's because they're popular, how the fuck is Limp Bizkit even on this list? Like, they cannot still be popular on the internet.
Hey, speaking of it, I'm going to interject this real quick. I would love to take that bass player and drummer, that rhythm section of Limp Bizkit. Nothing against Wes Borland, creative dude, but I would love to take those two guys, that rhythm section, and go and extract them and put really good guitar player and a really good vocalist with him, because them two dudes were nut ass tight and wrote some fat shit.
Sam Rivers, the bassist for Limp Bizkit. Yes.
Sam
Rivers and John Otto.
I can remember John Otto. Yeah. And John Otto was like 4'7".
Yeah. Him just a little guy.
He played on a Muppet Kit.
What does that mean? That short people can't play drums or shouldn't play drums?
It just means they normally don't.
Just that much more impressive. That much more impressive.
Nick,
hey, Baby Metal is on this list. Let me ask you guys: is that really a band? Or I thought it was just like a show.
Man, I don't know. I thought it was just like a, you know, some badass dudes like the guys that did all the Metalocalypse music wrote some shit and then said,
Yes.
hey, let's get like 4 little Japanese girls under the age of 7 to do some shit on this. And then I thought it was just like a gimmick.
That's really what I thought it was too. Somebody, anybody in the comments that knows, comment, tell us, educate us, because if that's really a band, oh dear God.
No, their band is 100% legit. All the guys backing these sub 7-year-old girls. No, I think they're probably around, you know, in their tween years at this point. But their band is legit. Their bass player, their drummer, guitarists, they literally signed up the best of the best in Japanese metal. Like all these,
it sounded like they took the dude that like wrote everything for Death Clock and were like, "Hey, why don't you guys write us a band and write us an album real quick?"
Have this really creepy, weird, like pedophile guy who has a beard,
right?
Ponytails and the whole thing. I was never introduced to it until I saw the first episode of Inuyasha. So yeah, anime. Baby metal, it all goes together. 1 plus 3.
There's a lot of the top 10 that I'm not mad at anybody in the top 10. I'm with you. I think Pantera could obviously be higher. I don't know that I'd have Slipknot at 2. I think there are a couple of bands that came along in the 90s and redefined, like Metallica redefined metal, and that whole group, Metallica, Megadeth, the thrash metal guys redefined it, and then Korn and Slipknot redefined it further. Korn with the dropped tuning and the slower stuff. I think. Huh?
Where they at?
What'd you say?
Living Color. Where they at?
Yeah, I agreed.
Hey, hold on.
Slipknot with the
hold on.
theatrics and.
Hold on, real quick. We got a comment on here from my buddy Chris Elton. Says my girlfriend is about to subject me to baby metal. Chris,
dear God.
Break up with her. You guys are done. Don't allow that to happen. Your ears will never recover.
But like I kind of feel like Pantera should be higher. Machine Head is I still think they're one of the bands out there still crushing. I wasn't crazy about the brand new record, but
you know what about that?
Kill it live
in the top 10. I think I'd like to think that this was just a typo, because Gojira, we know, didn't even make it into the top 20, but somehow Ghost is fucking number 5. I think they got Ghost and Gojira because the alphabet, those two, you know, G and G. I think whoever was plugging those in, I think they just got them wrong, because you could put Gojira at 5, and then that'd be a legit.
Okay, we just reconciled the whole list.
We fixed it. You're
off
welcome.
Of a typo.
You owe us however much money you made off of that.
Yep. We want half of all the clicks prior to now and 80% of clicks from now forward, because we fixed your shit. I don't even say we, and out of that, whatever we get out of that 80, Noah, I say you get 60. Nick and I will split the last 40, 20, 20, because you actually championed the solution.
It's what I do. That's why I'm on here, is to challenge the system.
You're the man.
Noah is
Mastodon being up in the top 10, I think, is dead on. I don't think they're nearly appreciated enough. And it's good to see that they're finally becoming more appreciated. You know, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Maiden, those guys, those bands define metal. I was surprised at how low Judas Priest was. Judas Priest was in the 40s. Painkiller is, I think, one of the top 5 best metal songs of all time.
Hang on. The name of the article was what? Read the article title.
Yeah, you're right. Most popular.
Not
best,
not the most
popular.
Influential or the best.
Yeah, you're right. Touche.
It's.
I would expect Pantera to be higher. Tool. I like the fact that they're still right there at 11.
That's pretty.
It bums me out. It bums me out that kids aren't. That your top 5 isn't in popularity. Gojira, Tool, Mastodon. Those should be 3 of the top 5 of who's popular now.
What did you say, Nick?
I think the last time Tool charted in the top 40 was about the same time as like Ted Nugent. Like, come to speak of
they haven't put anything out in over 10 years, you know, so how are they still number 11 in popularity?
Has it been 10 years since 10,000 Days came out?
Yes, it has been 10 years plus.
Hang on, I'm going to ask Google.
that speaks pretty highly for. I mean,
when was 10,000 days?
A legacy, you know.
God, he said, okay. Aaron says, I'm gonna ask Google. He literally says, how long ago did 10,000 Days come out? Google, like he literally
April.
says,
Hey, 12 years ago. 12 years and a month ago, April 28th, 2006.
Yeah.
Jesus, jumping monkeys.
That was the last time I had a good chance to learn a Justin Chancellor riff on bass. And Jesus, I don't know if these guys just built such a monstrous legacy that they just have to just permeate every sense of metal. But I never saw Tool as a metal band. I don't know.
Yeah.
Change my mind.
They have metal.
No,
they have metal qualities, but they're another band, like we were saying, like they're kind of over in their own world.
Yeah,
they're metal, they're alternative, then they're rock, all things, all at the same time.
Yeah,
Are they all things metal?
There was a time when I think
so.
Yeah, there was a time when Tool was like a huge part of what I listened to, but at that time, I considered everything that was heavy like that. It was like really dark shit, even like Stabbing Westward and just Nine Inch Nails, like anything that was just really dark to me was heavy. And Aaron and I discussed this, both last two episodes, where heavy is kind of the operative word. It has to be heavy to be considered metal, but heavy can mean lyrically, emotionally, or sonically. There's all whatever's heavy for you makes it metal. But yeah, I think in that vein that Tool is metal because they were dark, dude. They were dark.
Good points.
Really brutal dark. I loved it.
Good points. Yep. No, I saw the debut of the video for Sober on the same night that I saw the video for One by Metallica, and I have to say that Sober just struck me like, you pull up a wall bass with full overdrive ripping through like 90, 8x10 cabinets with that open D chord, just
Yes.
It hits a chord. It hits a chord. So if the main consensus is that Tool is metal, then man, if that's what you guys are driving it off of, then all things metal. ATM,
I think they're metal. Absolutely. I mean, if you say they're not metal, then we got to go. Is Mastodon metal?
Then you start.
Hell yeah, but then now we're talking subgenres. But yes, they're metal.
I just open up Pandora's box.
I think you did. That's okay. That's a topic that could be a whole show. What is metal?
Yeah, absolutely. Aaron, are you good on the news stuff? Did you cover?
I'm all good. That covered it.
I want to switch gears real quick. I want to talk about a show that an episode that we're going to do here in a couple months because I really, really think this is going to be beneficial for both us as well as other artists. But Aaron and I and our production team have decided to do an episode that Aaron and I are going to call the Metal Arts episode, and we won't be featuring any musicians on that episode. No call-in musicians. But what we will have is what we consider to be different professions or trades that heavy metal has influenced or that is openly influencing heavy metal. By that, I mean any of the dark arts artists. My friend Chris from Texas, he's an incredible artist, heavily influenced by heavy metal. Any fucking tattoo parlor you've ever been into, so tattoo artists, that's another trade, as well as, people that do sculpting and scrap metal welding and these kind of things. So we're going to do an episode.
Body piercing, sideshows.
Yes. Yep. We're going to do an episode that is solely focusing on what we refer to as the metal arts. And
we're hoping this show can parlay into more shows on this topic.
Yeah,
because you also have guys like our beloved buddy Nick, graphic artists, screen printers. I mean, it just it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But we thought we'd start off with this group of artists and
we have
build it
4.
from there.
We will have 4 that day. That won't be full-length 30-minute interviews. It'll probably be
names, like any kind of hints, or
we're still working on the full guest list. So
it's gonna be rad.
I can say 2 of them because 2 of them are certain, and 2 I do not mind saying. One again is my my buddy Chris Helton. He's an incredible artist. Yeah, check his shit out on Facebook. His shit's called Kujira Art, and that's Kuj 3 I's RA. Kujira Art. He's an incredible artist. He and I've been working closely on some coming up ideas. Anyway, we can't go too much into that. But also a good friend of everybody that's involved here right now, and we all know him and love him, but Mr. Jeff Mitchell. He is an insanely good tattoo artist. He's done a lot of this shit on me. He
done Austin.
Yeah, he did a full sleeve on Austin.
Done Justin.
Good man.
Yep, he's a really good dude, and he's not just a tattoo artist. You know, he's a sculptor. He's an actual artist, in a different sense of the word. But yeah, we want to showcase a lot of these different forms of art that, you know, again, the show's called All Things Metal. It's not called All Things Metal Music. It's All Things Metal. It's anything that was influenced by and anything that we consider to be metal. And dude, you look at some of the artwork of Chris Helton and of Jeff Mitchell. It's fucking metal, dude. That is so metal.
Jeff is a fucking genius, bro.
Yes,
Jeff
he is.
Hey, and one of the most genuine, down-to-earth, nice guys you'll ever meet, and that'll translate, I'm sure, when we have him on in a few weeks. Great guy.
And I will also say this, that after this weekend, I'm going to do some remodeling in here. I'm going to build a big shelf right back here, and I'm going to showcase a lot of my buddies' artwork that are metal artists. Jeff is bringing me, excuse me, he's going to bring me one of his big sculptures. I've got some of Chris Helton's prints. So yeah, we're gonna start really pumping and showcasing, and hopefully, like Aaron said, this turns into a reoccurring thing, whether it be once a month or once every 2 months or quarterly, however we feel the need, and we're gonna base a lot of it on the response too. So we want you guys to tell us how you felt that it went, because just because Aaron and I thinks it's awesome does not mean that it's going to be the best for the integrity of the show. So we want constant feedback. We want you guys to give us any opinions you have about future episodes. If you guys have ideas for anything like this, please hit us up. Please let us know. Aaron, are you with me? Are you excited about next week's guest? I don't want to say who it is, but are you excited about it?
So much so, dude.
Okay.
This guy.
Nick, you don't know who it is.
Nick, we'll tell you. We'll tell you. Yeah, this guy is one of the greatest. I want to say unknown, but he's not unknown because he's getting more and more known all the time. The guy deserves to be the biggest name in the industry. He deserves to be where you go, James Hetfield and this guy.
Okay, you know what we can say?
The gear's turning.
What?
Do you remember how old he is, Aaron?
He's young.
26.
Yeah, 26 years old.
Yep, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say his age. We're going to leave it at that. You guys, be sure you tune back in next week. Our phone lines will be open. We will get to as many calls as we can next week. We didn't have the phone number scrolling on here like we normally do, so I blame our Carl's Jr. Pickles production team for our lack of call-ins today. Thank you guys, Alex and Derek.
Appreciate
but for real, Alex and Derek, you guys have made this pretty awesome for Aaron and I. At first, we were just kind of doing it for Aaron and I to be able to hang out on Thursday nights and drink cocktails and be goofy and be boys about it. But the response has been great. We're getting more and more listeners, more and more likes every single time we do this, and we owe it to you guys. We really do appreciate it. Aaron, any last words, buddy?
Hey, you guys, we say it every week. You guys call in, be a part of this show with us. The callers are fun. We enjoy it. Thanks to Tim from former vocalist Within the Ruins. What a great guest. What a great guy. And good luck to that band moving forward. One hell of a band. And with Tim, it's still a hell of a band.
Yes, and we're gonna work at trying to possibly get. I think it would be interesting to get Steve on.
Yeah, Steve, you know me. Holler, dude. You shoot me an IM. We'd love to have you on.
Yes, I
talk about what the band is doing moving forward.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to get both, Tim building up to where they are now, and then Steve stepping in and moving forward. I think it'd be really cool to have that opinion as well. So we'd love that.
Show.
Hell yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, lots of calls. It's this 90 minutes moves. Now we're going into over almost 2 hours. It goes fast. It's a lot of fun. You guys keep being a part. Thank you for letting us do this goofy couple hours where we just sit and shoot the shit about our favorite stuff and people tune in to listen. It blows my mind.
I can't believe it either. It's so great, isn't it? We have the best jobs in the world right now.
Damn right. Hey, thanks everybody. Next week we'll put up in the next couple of days who it is, and we'll end the suspense. But he's a stud.
Hell yes. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm Noah.
I'm Aaron.
And
this is All Things Metal. Oh, and Nick. We're going to let Nick say bye.